सही वित्तीय बर्ताव करे आपका बचाव।
Thank you very much for staying with us on DD Conclave, DD Dialogue, our Meghalaya election special. This is the second session which will be specifically devoted and dedicated to the big role, rather decisive role, that traditionally in Meghalaya politics the regional parties play. Well, they say about the regional parties, there are a plethora of them, at least 4 of them main, or 3 of them are main, that they have traditionally played a decisive role. They play a role of kingmaker. They are like a glue when they are needed the most, particularly the post-poll alliances in Meghalaya. These are the regional outfits that play a significant role. But in this assembly elections in 2023, the regional parties refuse to don the role of kingmakers. Rather, they are contending to be the kings, which means that they are saying that why not have a chief minister from their outfit only? Why not a chief minister who belongs to or who spearheads a regional party here? Notably, the parties that are very significantly in the fray, UDP has always been at the forefront and has always played a very significant political role to reckon with. HSPDP as well as PDF. 3 main regional players and a new entrant of the VPP, and then there are other political groups, notably KAM. I'm going to quickly introduce my very special panel on DD Dialogue from Meghalaya. Let me welcome Mr. Alantri Dhakar. He is a spokesperson and a very prominent regional face of UDP here. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us on DD Dialogue. I also take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Pan Borlang Rianthyang. He is the secretary of the HSPDP. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And the new political outfit in the fray, the VPP, representing VPP is Dr. Batsakem Migbro, representing VPP. And we also, by the way, extended invitations to the PDF, which is also one of the significant regional players there. Well, they refused to send their representatives for the reason better known to them. And also to KAM, and they also did not, for certain reasons, send their representatives. Nevertheless, I'm going to quickly start with the party which has always been there at the forefront of the regional politics in Meghalaya. I'm talking about UDP, and from UDP we have Alantri Dhakar. Alantri Dhakar, not kingmakers, but king this time, which means that you would be vying, your party would be vying for more meaty role, more important role, and contending for the post of the chief minister as well?
Not necessarily the roles, but you see, we've experienced rule by national parties for almost going to be completing 13 years. And even prior to that, a good chunk of the past 50 years was in the hands of the national parties. And therefore, we took it upon ourselves to invite the electorate to give us the opportunity to serve the state by providing a government that's headed by the party itself, because we have already have already been able to showcase what we're capable of way back in 1998. When UDP led the government at that point of time.
Yes.
The union government had acknowledged Meghalaya as the best financially managed state then, and it awarded the then finance minister, Aubrey Scott Lingdo, as the best finance minister. So these are telltale signs that say that UDP has the capacity and the capability, provided they are given the numbers, to lead the state to a higher growth trajectory. So that is why we do not want to play second fiddle this time round.
Okay.
We want the UDP team to lead the government, provided the people of the state blesses us with
You know, that's a very important point that you've made, that the regional parties in Meghalaya this time, they're saying that they don't want to play second fiddle. Now, HSPDP, I'm sure you're on the same page since you're also part of the winning alliance. But how confident are you? And are you also on the same page with each other? I will come to VPP a little later, on issues as allies?
To be honest, I think, first of all, I would like to remind everyone again that the HSPDP has been there for the last 5 years. Okay. The HSPDP during those past years has made so many MPs, MLAs and MDCs. But we lack opportunity since the people of the state didn't give us a majority or absolute mandate to govern the state. So to be honest, I think this time around we have only 11 candidates. And with respect to our Guru friends, because we are here the party who demand for Khasi Jantia state. So before coming to that, with respect to our Guru friends, I think it is the wisdom of the people.
Okay.
Since from Khasi Jantia state only, we have already got 36 numbers. Definitely, we should be, the regional party should be the chief minister this time, including the regional party from the Garo Hills, the GNC which is there. Unfortunately, this time the GNC was not there on the fray. So, as Mr. Anand has said that for the last, since the inception of our state, the Congress are almost there at the helm of affairs. Hardly that the regional party has got a chance to rule the state for even 5 years. The reason for that I have seen in the past is that since the anti-defection law was not in place, therefore, it is also a bad chance for us to govern the state. Since our MLAs keep on shifting from one party to another. Yes, if you say that we are not kings, but definitely, to be honest, we will be the kingmakers, because since we have only 11 candidates this time, so we cannot claim also to be the chief minister.
Okay.
Honestly, we will be the kingmakers this time also.
Okay, also.
Yes.
Okay, VPP, you're a new entrant in a state where, considering the population and the topography and the size, we already have 4 biggies in the game, and then you have 3 big regional biggies also in the game, and now you, plus there are other 2 regional outfits or political groups, what they don't even call them parties. How confident are you, and what is the kind of difference that VPP is going to make? What does VPP bring to the table?
When we talk about the BPP, it is a party which is quite different from both the regional political parties that we have in the state as well as the national political parties.
You mean UDP and HSPTP?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the sense that when you look at the history of Meghalaya, we can see that one thing that lacks is a government that is committed to bring about good governance in the state. Especially in the last few years, 1 decade or so, the indifference to good governance has been so glaring. And in view of this, we can see also that in the states of Meghalaya, especially since the 2000 onwards, we can see that Meghalaya politics has become like the means to enhance personal business of some people.
Okay.
And where business and politics, they go hand in hand. And therefore, we see that this is a very dangerous trend for the state of Meghalaya, that no matter how much we talk about it, no matter how much, what kind of plan, what kind of policies we adopt, unless and until you have the politics which is rooted in, in the right principle, in true democracy, then the result for the people will be,
You mean to say that in these elections, regional parties will or should have the mandate? Are you disappointed with the national parties?
We are disappointed with all. And therefore,
when you say all, you mean national parties also?
National parties and even regional political parties.
So
I am.
PP says that we can be the alternative.
Yeah, we are the alternative to both the national political parties as well as to the regional political parties. Otherwise, if we are not the alternative to both the categories of political parties, there's no point for us to enter. We have had already so many political parties. And our party is formed, and it has a vision to provide a clean and effective governance. And our politics is based on clean politics, where we are not really spending money for to buy votes. So you can say we do not depend on money power.
Okay.
And our politics, we believe that is a politics of commitment and a politics of ideology, and therefore we want to promote that kind of politics. And I believe that it is only this path that can lead towards development in the state.
So you mean to say the veteran parties like UDP and others lacked commitment and ideology over generations?
I would say that UDP, it was started with a lot of hope in 1997, but over the years they wandered.
Okay.
And I would like to add here, and even UDP in the last few, I would say decade or so, they also go with this concept of winnability. Once you go with the concept of winnability, it means that you grab whoever the candidate is, no matter who defects from regional to national to, to regional, whatever the defection, whatever the antecedents of the candidate, whatever the principle of a candidate, you will go with those kind of candidates as long as he is, the winnable factor in elections. And what we are a party that does not believe.
जो बनकर मेरा हमसफर आएगा सिर्फ उसी को फर्क नजर आएगा शुरू करो डालो बुनियाद घर महल नजर आएगा वंडर लाइए वंडर नहीं फर्क नजर आएगा वंडर सीमेंट फर्क नजर आएगा
महाराष्ट्र शासन पर्यटन विभाग आयोजित श्री छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज जन्मोत्सव महाआरती समारोह। लाखों की तादाद में शामिल हो जाइए रविवार 19 फरवरी के दिन शिवनेरी किले पर।
जल्दी करो यार प्लीज जल्दी।
दूसरा कोई मैच है क्या?
ऐसा ही कुछ है यार, बैंक जाना है दादाजी को लेके।
हाँ यार, उम्र होने पर कभी कभी मदद तो लगती है,
पर बैंकिंग में नहीं। वैसे भी आरबीआई कहता है सीनियर सिटीजन सबसे पहले। अगर आप 70 साल से ऊपर हैं और आप बैंक नहीं जा सकते तो बैंक आएगा आपके पास जरूरी सेवाएं लेकर, वो भी वाजिब दरों पर।
सीनियर सबसे पहले। आरबीआई कहता है जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
So VPP, the new entrant in the political fray, claims that all the regional as well as national parties have always, vied for the winnability factor. Jo jeeta wo Sikandar. So anybody who wins, any regional outfit will glue themselves up, and VPP will not. Remember, the nation is listening to you. After elections are over, we'll have to see the kind of post-poll alliance you're going to form. UDP, how do you respond to the charge?
Well, I have nothing to say against what Dr. Murbo has submitted just now, but I'd just like to remind the viewers and your audience here as well as my co-panelists that everyone fights elections to win. No one fights elections to lose. So if winnability is not a factor while selecting a candidate, then I don't see what is the point of even being in politics. You see, it is not wrong to vie for power, especially when your intention is to use that power to realize the aspirations of the people. Down the line, we have had only 2 opportunities to lead the government. One was in 1998, and the second with a very minority number of MLAs in 2008, the government that lasted just for a year. Yet we have proved our mettle in showing our clear intentions towards delivering the aspirations of the people of the state.
How different is 2023 now from 2018?
Well, the feedbacks that we are getting from the grassroots level is that eyes are turning towards the UDP because the plethora of national parties that are present here in the state today, which is basically a mix-up of, old wine in new bottle, is confusing the electorate, thereby inching them on to look up to the only state-based party. I would like to differ with your NPP spokesperson who had claimed that NPP is a state party. It is not a state party. NPP has its roots in Manipur. It was brought to Meghalaya by late P.A. Sangma, and therefore their claim that NPP is homegrown is totally false.
Okay.
The records in the Election Commission of India if you were to go to its website, will tell you so. No one fights elections to lose. So if winnability is not a factor while selecting a candidate, then I don't see what is the point of even being in politics. You see, it is not wrong to vie for power, especially when your intention is to use that power to realize the aspirations of the people. Down the line, we have had only 2 opportunities to lead the government. One was in 1998, and the second with a very minority number of MLAs in 2008, the government that lasted just for a year. Yet we have proved our mettle in showing our clear intentions towards delivering the aspirations of the people of the state.
How different is 2023 now from 2018?
Well, the feedbacks that we are getting from the grassroots level is that eyes are turning towards the UDP because the plethora of national parties that are present here in the state today, which is basically a mix-up of, old wine in new bottle, is confusing the electorate, thereby inching them on to look up to the only state-based party. I would like to differ with your NPP spokesperson who had claimed that NPP is a state party. It is not a state party. NPP has its roots in Manipur. It was brought to Meghalaya by late P.A. Sangma, and therefore their claim that NPP is homegrown is totally false.
Okay.
The records in the Election Commission of India, if you were to go to its website, will tell you so.
2018, you spent 5 years together in power. Now,
Going to be 5 years.
yes, 5 years now. And 2023, you're ready to go solo if you
Yes.
get the mandate.
We are going solo.
Okay. That's a big news coming. HSPDP, they are going solo. What about you?
You see, as of now, we are also fighting on our own. So since the result was to be announced on the 2nd of March, so I think that will be the time when we'll see what a government will be formed.
So you're keeping your options open.
Yeah, we are, as of now, since I told you that we are only 11 of the fray. So we don't have even the magic numbers of 31. So let's see on the 11 what kind of mandate will people give us. So regarding the BPP, which has said just now that the regional party has not lived up to the expectations of the people, just let me remind and let us not forget that even Ba'adan was a UDP member at first when he won an election from UDP, and the second time he won it from HSPDP. When he was with HSPDP, remember that we together, myself, we go all around our state to make the people aware of the clean politics campaign. And we are also the party which we want to give a clean governance to the people of the state. Having said that, it is not that we are here not to perform. We are here to perform in order to make the people of the state satisfied with our performance. Okay, so the VPP could not claim that only the party to give a good governance to the people of the state. We are also here for the people of the state for good governance.
Okay, so now yes, go ahead please.
No, just to add on to what my colleague has said, VPP is being headed by Arden Basayomaj, who is an ex-MLA. He won his first elections from my party, second election from his party, floated the very new outfit that claims to be the alternative. It is yet to be tried and tested, though their leader has been tried and tested. So it is a very long shot for my esteemed colleague Dr. Batskem Merbo to say that they are the viable alternative with just 18 in the fray.
Okay, respond to that.
When you talk about, for example, in the last election, it was very amusing, in the last government, where there was serious allegations, not allegations by the common people, allocation by the coalition partners, and also even observation made by the Honorable Meghalaya High Court on the functioning of this MDA government. And it's a very interesting to see that all these political parties, regional political parties, who claim to, to provide the alternative government which is based on good governance, but they stick to the party that has been accused time and again of corruption, of scams. I just fail to understand. Like they say that they want to go for the stability of government.
Okay.
But here we have to ask a question. When the party which was leading the government was very much in question, what kind of stability? Stability of corruption? It's better to have a political instability with the objective of bringing governance, good governance, than to have political stability with corruption.
I think that's a valid point raised by the VPP. How does UDP respond?
And therefore, we are very disappointed with the regional political parties, and therefore, this led to the formation of the party of the VPP.
Okay.
I'd like to respond by saying this to my esteemed colleague. We come with a baggage of experience. Our government in 1998 was a victim of such allegations. At that point of time, the civil society, the NGOs were all loaded up stock and barrel to go against our then government on false pretexts, which later on, after the government was toppled, the High Court upheld that there was no corruption as per the as according to the allegation that was meted out when the government was toppled. So similarly, in this setup in the MDA, there are allegations of corruptions galore.
Okay.
And we have maintained. In fact, our youngest minister in the cabinet had very openly declared to the press that even if it is my brother or my father or my sister who is involved in corruption, the law will take its own course. And that is when my party general secretary said, if you can substantiate and provide evidence that these allegations hold water, we will be the first to follow the due course of.
Okay.
जो बनकर मेरा हमसफर आएगा सिर्फ उसी को फर्क नजर आएगा शुरू करो डालो बुनियाद घर महल नजर आएगा वंडर लाइए वंडर अपनाइए फर्क नजर आएगा वंडर सीमेंट फर्क नजर आएगा
जल्दी टिफिन पैक करो राजू मोबाइल छोड़ो
अरे दीदी वो बैंक का नंबर चाहिए रिफंड ही नहीं आया है मिल गया अब भी कॉल करता हूँ दीदी
बिना नंबर जांचे अक्सर जालसाज बैंक की नकली वेबसाइट और फर्जी नंबर से पैसों की धोखाधड़ी करते हैं
तो फिर सही नंबर
बैंक की ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट या तो कार्ड
आपने तो बचा लिया दीदी
काम से नहीं
आरबीआई कहता है
सही वित्तीय बर्ताव करे आपका बचाव
Invest once and enjoy guaranteed maturity with life cover with LIC's Dhan Varsha, a single premium plan for your family's security and prosperity.
Are you at the end of 5 years? How do you look at the NPP BJP led alliance of the MDA? How do you look at the report card? Do you think, because again you are a regional player and you claim to understand the people more than the national party, which makes a lot of sense because you have a body of work. Now you're quoting again and again your party at the helm way back in late 90s. Now we're looking at 2023.
Right.
First of all, tell the people of Meghalaya, you think you have delivered on the promises of the manifesto, the common minimum program of 2018?
Madam, give us an absolute majority, then question us about our delivery. When we are in coalition, we're subject to where the buck ends. We have 3 ministers in the cabinet, but the mere 3 ministers are not the majority in the cabinet.
So, if I'm understanding and interpreting, yes.
The complexities.
So if I'm interpreting it right, which means that you are not happy or you were not satisfied or happy or content with the way NPP was handling the things?
Let me put it this way. We were left with just 2 options. between the devil and the deep blue sea. We were left with just those two options.
Well, on the national broadcaster, the devil and the deep sea that you're
Deep blue sea.
deep blue sea. That's the line coming from one of the most important and prominent MDA alliance partner, the party, one of the significant regional players of the state of Meghalaya. We are talking about UDP. And I'm sorry because we don't have an NPP, we don't have a NPP representative here in this panel. NPP will have to respond, which means that for the sake of power, you had to stay there. For the sake of numbers, you had your winning candidates. But you were not happy with the way NPP and BJP handled the things.
No.
Okay.
The border issue, for example, we had asked the Chief Minister to revisit the Memorandum of Understanding because there was a hue and cry from along the border villages, especially the villages that were not included in Meghalaya, who are being inhabited by Meghalayans. But the Chief Minister simply refused and
so the cracks are visible. So if I'm understanding it correctly, the cracks are visible. And if the cracks are visible, that means you've cheated your own people. And it's not only your party. Well, you are saying that you give us votes. We are the party who can drive on the aspirations of the people of Meghalaya. HSPDP, your cracks with the NPP are also visible. Are you still not on the same page?
No.
Well, at least they are honest to admit. Will you admit?
Regarding
your friendship or your not a very comfortable relationship with NPP?
You see,
I know I've asked you a tricky question.
That's what. Is it unfortunate for us?
No, but I would need a straight answer.
Anyway.
Because I represent these people here.
Okay. We are also at a crossroad and we are surprised. We got 2 MLAs and these are shadow MLAs.
What is crossroad?
You see, these 2 MLAs has already defected even when they are within the HSPT itself. Okay, that's what I am terming them as shadow MLAs. Okay, that's why even when the term has not yet ended, they have already crossed. So unfortunately, we are with 0 MLAs, as you have seen. One with the UDP and one with the NPP.
As I told, from the very beginning, I told you that at that point of time, in 2019-20, I was a general public. We haven't floated our party. I was rarely disappointed and amused. For example, when you look at the wrongdoings of this government, all along they maintained that there was no illegal coal mining. They maintained that. But that what had happened at Ksan, that coal mining, and it was flooded, and the miners were trapped. And literally you could see that the people at the helms of affairs who enjoyed power, they lied to the people. They were not running the government for the people. And in fact, once the mandate is given to them, they can, they take the state for liberty. They can do anything they wish to. And this is not the kind of democracy, this is not the kind of government that we deserve.
Can HSPDP respond to that?
You see, as I have told you, they remain our MLAs. They remain our ministers. Till, especially the MLA from Soyong who defected, until the CEC has notified the election. Okay. So therefore, we never thought that he will leave the party, and we also never thought that the minister, Mr. Renington, and MLA from Makoro will leave our party. Okay. That's why it is for that reason that we did not put any restriction on them.
Because they were your MLAs, you are happy with them.
Respond to that.
All 5 years you were happy with them. They were with you, and you said that they defected towards the very end, and therefore you were part of that problem.
Yes.
जो बनकर मेरा हमसफर आएगा सिर्फ उसी को फर्क नजर आएगा शुरू करो डालो बुनियाद घर महल नजर आएगा वंडर लाइए वंडर अपनाइए फर्क नजर आएगा वंडर सीमेंट फर्क नजर आएगा
Now, one aspect that continues to be highlighted is that there seem to be a lot of coalition compulsions within the regional players. But when we talk about coalition compulsions, don't you feel HSPDP and UDP and the new entry party also that you owe an explanation to the people of Meghalaya? Because you want to stick to the power, so very conveniently you have turncoats which you not even pull up. You don't even pull them up. First HSPDP. Yes.
This is a democracy. We need numbers to form a government.
Okay.
So when I have told you that we have never got a mandate, the people has never given a mandate. So it is also our duties to form a coalition government in order to serve our people.
No, coalition government is not an issue, but within the coalition government, you're not on the same page and you continue to attack each other in a way which means that people, I mean, where is the accountability? Where is the accountability? Yes, go ahead.
You say that when you look, this is where we say that VVP is the alternative, where we want to provide the accountable government to the people, the government that is responsible to the people. Let me be very frank. In this election, we field only 18 candidates, and for sure we will, we will not be able to form the government on our own. But we have, and it's a fact also that Meghalaya politics has to be a coalition. We cannot think of a situation where only one party will get majority. And in this election also, we'll make no mistake.
Unfortunately, there was one party which got the majority, but then again the turncoats issue and they left the ship and joined the other party.
Which one?
I am talking about Congress. They had numbers.
In the 2013,
Yes.
more or less they had the numbers,
Yes.
but not exactly, less than the exact number. And but I will say that VPP is not close to coalition government. We know this reality of Meghalaya. But even coalition government based on principle, based on terms and conditions, not, like where you can join the party simply for the sake of power. The moment you get power,
exactly
you feel
what
happy.
my point
You have to be accountable to your...
That is exactly why I'm raising this point again.
I want to complete the statement.
sure.
You make the manifesto, you make pledges to the people, but when you go to power, you forget all your pledges to the people and enjoy power with whoever is ready to...
It is
be with
precisely I started with, have you delivered on the promises, UDP?
See, it's very easy for Dr. Murbo to go hammer and tongs because he has no experience whatsoever in a coalition government. Only his party president has that experience. And he has been party hopping, and when he found no more party to hop to, and he started this new outfit called VPP. When you are in coalition government, you have to adhere to certain coalition dharma, because especially in a situation like Meghalaya, where, like I told you in the beginning, we were left with no options but between the devil and the deep blue sea. It was not because of power that we hung on. We hung on to provide a stable government. Otherwise, had we engineered a breakup of the coalition, then the people are the first who will suffer. There will be president's rule, and you know what happens when president rules.
So you wanted to keep obviously president's rule at bay.
And we have learned, we have partnered with the Congress in the previous years, and we have partnered with NPP this current tenure now. And we have gained so much experience that we are so confident now that it is high time for the people of the state to at least give us one opportunity to prove our mettle. And if we fail, then you can point fingers and call us whatever you want to call us.
Okay, point.
Okay, I want to respond to that party hopping. In fact, in Meghalaya, there's no end to party hopping if you wish to hop.
No, there is no end.
There's no end.
UDP MLAs, UDP leaders have maintained loyalty. No UDP MLA has party hopped.
But as of now, as of the time of recording this program, they haven't. We don't know what happens in the next 48 hours.
But the fact of the matter, you allow the MLAs of the other parties to hop to you.
Okay, respond to that.
Why not? When someone wants to follow our ideology, someone wants to see UDP is a part of Meghalaya.
It's not what
In fact, I consider
history.
you also to be part and parcel of UDP.
You have an open
UDP is not
invitation
mine.
to join UDP.
UDP is Meghalayan's party. But you don't wish to join with us, and that's why you started VPP.
Yeah.
See, UDP is a Meghalayan's party. It's not my property.
Well, viewers, at the beginning of the show, I spoke
Leave the
very
party.
strongly about the fluid loyalties of the political leaders. And this is on this very broadcast of DD Dialogue. You have UDP reaching out to the new entry in the regional game, VPP, and well, there is an open invitation. So at the end of the day, sir, you are fighting elections on defections, or are you fighting elections on issues?
We are fighting elections on issues.
What are the issues in the last 40 minutes? I've not heard from any of you about promising something to them. Let me start with the new party.
When we talk about...
Don't give me lectures on stable government. Promises on what you're going to deliver. Will you give them education? Will you give them roads?
Okay,
Yeah?
I will come to that because you have not asked the question you asked about.
Okay, 30 seconds.
It's,
Go ahead.
partly the problem lies with your question also.
What is the problem with my question?
Because you asked on those questions, so we have to respond to those questions.
That is not
Anyway,
called problem.
yes.
That's called multiple questions
Yeah.
to which you should give
Okay.
multiple answers and straight answers. So
You-
question number one, what are your promises to the people of
Okay.
Meghalaya?
When you look at education, Shillong, we know that it was a center of education for entire Northeast before. But now, where is that title anymore that we are holding? Gone. What is this? Because of the mismanagement.
Okay.
I would not say because of lack of money or anything, but because of mismanagement and misgoverning, where we have misgovernance in the
education.
sector.
Fine.
Education we want to reform.
Okay.
Here we don't want, when we talk about education, many political parties, they say we will open this college, that or college. But we want to reform education. We want to make healthcare functional in the state of Meghalaya. When we see the government in the last 5 years, they upgrade one CHC after the other. But the problem is there's no difference between the CHC upgraded with the PHC from which they were upgraded.
Upgradation of
and
health
we want the CHCs and PHCs and the civil hospitals and other healthcare
You're
facilities.
promising
to
upgradation
improve.
of health.
No. We want to ensure that there is delivery of service.
So you're not promising.
We are promising that that the healthcare, the public sector should deliver service.
So will you? So this is a promise, the whole promise.
This is a promise, and we want to. And for when we talk about, for example, this traffic jam. Traffic jam in Shillong is a main problem. It is a problem faced by everyone. We want to tackle this, and for this traffic jam of Shillong, we need solution which is Shillong specific. We don't need to invent or to bring the solutions from outside because Shillong is peculiar. We need, that there's a Shillong
I appreciate, and it is very assuring that you have a new regional outfit called VPP, promising health, upgradation of health infrastructure, education, and roads.
And
roads.
yeah.
Basic things.
Yeah,
Basic things. HSPDP.
And in fact, even power also, because when you see at the private, the public sector undertakings in Meghalaya, whether MCCL or whether MECL, they have been badly managed. The problem
Okay,
is
point
that.
taken. You have refused on the invitation. You scuttled that invite coming from the UDP. You are not interested in the invite, but you have your own manifesto.
We have our own.
Clear. Okay. Very assuring again. Guess, go ahead, sir.
Okay, regarding the manifesto promises, first of all, I would like to respond to the VPP, okay?
Okay.
For them, it's very easy to bang on us because all of them are lecturers and assistant professor, okay? They are
What's
not there.
wrong in that?
They are not there. They are
What's
not.
wrong in that?
It's not wrong. They are not on the fray. Had they been on the fray, had they been MLA, they would have understand how to go.
So you mean to say lecturers cannot contest
I am not
elections?
saying
Educationists
that. They are
cannot
not
contest?
because they are bang on us. They are not contesting, okay?
Okay.
There are some of them are contesting, but I'm speaking for Mr. Mirbo only.
Okay, no personal attacks. Now, what are you going to? Let's
okay regarding
call spade a spade. Tell them what is HSPDP going to bring to the table.
Okay, first of all, the HSPDP, which is there at the very first of the manifesto, Khasi Jantia state, which we cannot deny that whether you like it or not. Since we got our state in 1972, the HSPDP has never been satisfied with the boundaries of the state. Apart from that, we got a state in which, according to Assam Regulation Act 1969, we got a state where the cantonment and this municipal area did not fall under the state, did not fall even under the district council.
So therefore,
For that reason that I foresee that we cannot even solve the traffic jam and all. We cannot even solve because we have no space here anymore in Shillong because of the land which has taken away because the district council has not got a provision to take the land from the cantonment and the municipal area. That is number one. We are supporting the Garo friends to get their own state in order to solve this employment issue. As of now, the youth feel very frustrated regarding employment. That's why we are there together with the GNC, with the Garo State Movement Committee, demanding for a separate state. Peacefully, we want the government of India to bifurcate between the two. So
you want further divisions?
Yes.
So you want further divisions within the state?
You see, as I told you now, the Garo friends are determined to get their own state. Even if there's division, it's a division for good. That is number one. The Garo are demanding their own state under Article 37G, I think. So therefore, it is a high time even for Khasi and Jatia to get our own state in order to solve all these issues which has been there for so many years.
UDP, you've heard both of them.
Yeah. Well, I'd just like to spell out what UDP is for. We are for a healthy Meghalaya. We have realized that in the past, Meghalaya has taken a wrong turn, thereby lowering all their rankings in the country. And therefore, we aim to step up in these sectors: healthcare, education, agriculture, law and order, tourism, holistic economic growth, youthful empowerment, the acronym of which is HEALTHY. And in order to realize these aspects...
Should have come from the heart, it is coming from the paper, sir.
Well, if it comes from the heart, it might...
Please reach out to your people. Please reach out to your people. Keep the manifesto here. Please promise them, we've got young girls here, are you going to give them jobs?
Definitely.
NPP promised jobs. NPP promised jobs. Education was one of their cornerstones.
Yes, there are 8,000 vacancies lying with the government. We intend to see that they are filled at the earliest possible once we take over the reins of the government. When it comes to the youth empowerment, we would like to step up the participation by the financial institutions in making financial requirements available to the youths who are into startups and other entrepreneurial avenues. We are all for meritocracy, wherein we don't want to have any more personal interviews for grade 3 and grade 4 job applicants. We would like to have on-camera personal interviews for those interviews that are applicable. And we are also speaking on the lines of taking the state on a higher growth trajectory, thereby very meticulously following the sustainable development goals and raising our rankings from where it is now.
What is your take on the contentious border issue with Assam and the accord that has
We want to review it.
Okay.
We want to review it.
So the NPP partner wants to review it. Yes. That's an interesting line. Okay.
See, because at the end of the day, it is our people who are being uprooted from a boundary that was non-existent till...
I'm just wondering, how did you run the government in the last 5 years? You are mostly not on the same page with the NPP.
Well, there are areas where we were on the same page, and there are points of differences, like I told you.
Okay.
This didn't happen overnight.
Are there sharp lines of differences? Are these differences sharp?
Some are sharp, some were handled and taken care of.
Okay.
These point of differences cropped up as early as 2020. and we managed to make adjustments, and down the line we realized that if
Well, did NPP not take you in confidence on most of the important issues?
there were certain issues that we were not taken into confidence. For example, where the MOU for the border dispute body resolution is concerned, I am made to believe that even the recommendations of the regional committees were not accommodated in the memorandum of understanding between the two chief ministers, and that was basically what led us to demand that the entire MOU should be reviewed.
Okay, all right. So, if I'm understanding again it correctly, the bottom line is there. The bottom line is that the coalition partners within themselves are opposing the very national party to which they lend support for coming to power. And at the end of the day, you have to convince your own people that these are not going to be the rational parties in 2023, but the regional players should be handed over that mandate so that you deliver. That's a very surprising, line, I mean, the very surprising narrative. It's a very interesting, rather, narrative of Meghalaya 2023 assembly polls. Final word, sir, please, we need to wrap.
You credited to NPP for promising jobs to the youths. With regard to nomenclatures, no one can compete with NPP, I'm telling you. They can come up with fancy names like Focus, Focus Plus, and all sorts of names. But I'm telling you, all this is in theory. What do you do? The impact on the ground, I would say how much, I don't know.
Okay.
Why I say, for example, I give you the, why I say, for example, they give a scheme to help the farmers where they distribute the piglets. But from where do they bring the piglets? They bring from outside the state where the piglets.
It's not only about Focus Plus, it's about the larger political battle, the electoral equation, the way it is pitched in these 2023 assembly elections in Meghalaya. One thing is very clear, that the coalition partners or the allies are not on the same page even within themselves, which doesn't augur well for the people of the state, for the development of the state. When you're not together on these things, how can you even deliver on the promises? We have one final question, 10 seconds, and we wrap up because sir has to go. Yes, go ahead, quickly.
Hello everyone. As a regional party, my question to all of the readers is, do you believe in ILP? Do you want ILP? That's what my question. And do you agree that this is what the state needs at this moment? Well, there are other important issues which remains unattended.
Excellent. One more question.
As we heard about new education system that is called NEP, New Education Policy on 2020, when will it be implemented? What's your stand on it?
Okay, NEP. One more question. Any one question? Yes, here.
My question is more futuristic. Esteemed member from the UDP made a mark that number being the issue, and you find yourselves between the deep blue sea and the devil. If a similar situation, I really hope you get the numbers, but if a similar situation arises, will you now deliberately push yourself between the deep blue sea and the devil? Thank you.
Excellent question. Yes, anybody else? Yes, UDP.
Well, if given another option, we'd definitely go for another option. But if the situation is such that our presence is required in order to ensure that the government of the day can be helped by our presence in delivering, at least to a certain extent, the benefits to the population of the state, we'll definitely be there.
Okay. HSPDP, you wanted to say?
Yes,
responding to her question.
Yes, regarding ILP, I think you should remember this is already a resolution.
It's a property of the House.
In the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly, okay? So definitely ILP should be there in the state in order to prevent the influx from other people from outside our states, okay? And what I want to add is that regarding the promises to the youth, the HSP is there in the manifesto to give the youth regarding the skill development in order to provide job opportunities for the youth regarding their skills. In terms of education, what we see is that education is a must, especially in the rural areas. Education, health and power is a must in the rural areas, which has been lacking for the last 51 years.
Okay.
So if the HSP is there in power, we'll definitely check education in the rural areas, healthcare and power.
All right.
A must.
Point taken. Last question. Yes.
Elections, there has been a lot of promises, but how will they be implemented?
Madam, I would like to respond to what she said regarding ILP. You see, ILP, when you talk about influx, let me be very clear here, that the volume of influx, I would say that it's not so much to the extent that that it is really, that we are in great danger. I would not agree with that, though it takes place.
Okay.
But the point here is we need ILP, one, to ensure that congenial atmosphere is there in the state. Because otherwise, if there's no ILP, then there will always be groups fighting for it, and we have a situation where that not congenial atmosphere persists, and without that kind of environment, you'll find it difficult to go for development.
All right.
The second thing, when you talk about ILP, let us remember that there are groups that link ILP with railways. We need railways in Meghalaya, especially goods train. And therefore we need ILP so that this implementation or the construction of railways can take place as soon as possible. Our state cannot be deprived of development.
Okay.
And therefore, regarding higher education,
One last question. Yes.
This is an open house question. We talk about infrastructure development. So suppose ILP is implemented, how do we deal with the situation of bringing investments to the states? How are we supposed to bring development to the states if ILP is initiated?
Yes. I think UDP should take that.
See, the ILP that we are envisaging is not the ILP of the yesteryears where you have to run to the designated offices in the cities or even in the state. We are envisaging an ILP that is in tune with the times, which we aptly call EILP, which you can apply from the comfort of your home or wherever you are on your mobile phone. It's akin to like how you register when you check into a hotel. This is simply for the purpose of having a record. You see, we have had too many cases of fly-by-night operators, of people who come here and do all the unlawful things and then the very same evening head back to their parent states, and we are left empty-handed, there to suffer. In fact, the ILP will be a boon for the state, as it has been proven in Sikkim. You see, once we have the ILP, everything will be regulated, everything will be on record, and we will have a flourishing tourism industry then on, because all this problem that we've had over the years concerning the security of our non-indigenous inhabitants of the state, that will be history.
All right, we'll have to see whether that will be history or not. On 27th of this month, their fates and all the candidates of the different political parties will be sealed in a ballot box, and only time will tell whether coalition politics once again will be another inevitable solution of the state. The state has experienced that kind of a political model so far, but well, the big news in fact that has come out from this chapter of the DD Dialogue Election Conclave for Meghalaya is that the consortium of the regional parties of Meghalaya they don't want to be the kingmakers or acting glue, but they want to be the kings themselves, which means more meaty role, perhaps chief ministership if possible, if the numbers favor them. And that's what they're saying, that the national parties which have been their coalition partners have failed them. Their own allies have failed them. Therefore, the people of Meghalaya should give the regional parties a chance to govern them. I will not use the word rule them. You said national parties have ruled, but you have to govern them. On that note, thank you very much all of you for joining us. I'm going to quickly thank Thank you, my audience. I'm going to quickly thank Mr. Alantri Dakar, spokesperson UDP. It was such a pleasure talking to you, and eye-opener answers also. And also thanking Mr. Parborgrang Ringthyang, Secretary HSPDP. Thank you, sir. And thanking also, we have Mr. Dr. Batskem Mirbog from VPP, the new regional outfit that has been floated. And once again, to reiterate, we reached out to the other regional players like PDF and KAM. They did not respond to the invite of the show, which actually is meant for the people of Meghalaya and which is meant to give them the stage to tell them what they've done so far and the promises that they are going to keep if they at all come to power in 2023. On that note, thank you very much for tuning into DD Dialogue. Namaskar from Meghalaya.